Hey everybody! What's up? Sean here. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Hey, so I thought I'd do a quick video before I return this rental for anybody interested in the Dodge Durango. So basically we wanted to go look at a car. We kind of got a couple crappy cars right now because we had to get rid of our good car for a lemon law buyback, our Honda Odyssey. So we're looking at a couple Toyota Siennas. I live in Vermont, and we decided to go to Massachusetts because there's not hardly any local vehicles at a good price. I did find some in Massachusetts, much better than what we had around here. I did find one. I gotta pick it up next weekend. Long story short, the reason I'm doing this video, I decided to rent a vehicle, and they gave me a Dodge Durango. This is a 2019 Dodge Durango. Now, it's a rental, so there's nothing fancy about it. It does have a lot of features. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about it. Maybe somebody wanted a little bit of information, or how does it really ride, you know, before they go test drive or whatever. I think it's a good idea to rent one before you actually buy it. So I paid about $50, all said and done. I don't think I put any insurance on it. I'm not sure. Probably a good thing to know. Oops. Anyways, so like I said, this is a 19. It's black on black. It's got black wheels, black car. I'm not sure the motor. I'm assuming it's a 3.6 liter, what they've been putting in a lot, but don't quote me. I'm not 100% certain. So by the time we turn this in, so we are going to have roughly, just today, we did a day trip with this car, and we're going to have roughly 540 miles in this car, on this car today. We've spent 7.5 to 8 hours in this vehicle today. I have 3 children and my wife, so there was 5 of us in this car. We were able to fit 3 car seats wide. All my children require car seats. 2 are forward facing and 1 is rearward facing. The brands of my car seats, some are wider than others. I have one Graco, one we bought because it's a little thinner, because temporarily we're having to run 3 wide and it's not so slick in certain vehicles. God, I'm not much help, but we do have 3 wide, and it actually wasn't too tight. It actually seems comfortable. You know, you got to lean in to buckle up your middle child if they can't do that on their own, which isn't a big deal. But there's plenty of room. So with the 3rd row up, it's got 3rd row seats, which there's not much leg room in the 3rd row. Nobody's sitting there. There's like 0 trunk space, and I'm sure everybody knows that already. So we had some stuff. We decided to bring a stroller, some water, blah, blah, blah. So I folded the seats down. There's plenty of cargo space with the seats down. It's got the power tailgate. It's got a sunroof, as you can see, which is automatic, which is kind of nice. This has heated seats, heated steering wheel, which is fantastic. It's like 50 degrees out here, so the heated steering wheel is not really necessary, but it feels awesome. As far as comfort, so I was pretty comfortable in this car on the way back. My back started to hurt a little bit, but I'm also fat, so you know that's probably part of it. But it was overall. So this car, like, I'm not a huge Chrysler fan, and I don't prefer to buy Chryslers because I know if I decide to keep it long term and put a lot of miles on it, and some people will disagree with me, but I fix cars for a living. I've been automotive repair for 12 years. Chryslers just don't seem to take the mileage as well as some Japanese-made vehicles. So I prefer not to buy these. But what I will say is driving one, which I never have long-term or more than just test drives and stuff for customer repairs, this vehicle rides super smooth. It's quiet going down the road. You don't hear a lot of road noise. It rides really smooth. So I did between... So I had set the cruise control at 75 today, and at times I was doing 80 once I got in, New Hampshire, Massachusetts area where there was a lot of traffic, and they were just cruising, and it handled 80 miles an hour, no problem. This, having enough speed and power, it doesn't lack any of that. it was great, fantastic ride smooth. My wife actually loved it. She was, man, this thing's really nice, and I totally agree. Got a cop coming here. So, sorry about that. The other feature that this car has, which is, I don't know if I like it or not. It's kind of cool. The idea, I get it. Try to save some gasoline, but it has the auto shut off. I may be describing it wrong, but once the car is warmed up and you come to a stop at a traffic light, the engine turns off. As soon as you take your foot off the brake, it restarts. Now, a lot of vehicles are doing that now. It's not uncommon. This vehicle has that feature. You're probably thinking, oh my God, that thing must start and stop a lot. That's a lot of wear and tear on the starter. I assume it is. I assume that starters have been tested and put through the ringer with the amount of times these vehicles could be started throughout their life. I don't know longevity. I gotta imagine that they probably would need to be replaced a little quicker than a lot of other cars that don't do that. But again, I'm unsure of the technical specs and longevity of that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you, this car is comfortable. The steering wheel is comfortable for my liking. So it's got satellite radio. The heated seat controls and the steering wheel controls are done where the radio display is. They're not done anywhere else. So you have, obviously, on your steering wheel, you can scroll through your menus, blah, 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 like your trip, your fuel economy, your tire pressures, all the normal stuff that you're getting now in vehicles. The display has a radio, AM, FM. It does your climate. It has media. You know, you can connect your phone to it for Bluetooth. I didn't do that for this ride, but you can. You know, it's got manual, sport shift, Tiptronic, whatever you want to call it. You have that option on the shifter for the transmission. Everything else is fairly comfortable. You know, the cup holders are comfortable. The center console's good for your arm. The seats feel good. This is cloth interior. It's black interior. The sunroof is fantastic. Other than that, guys, so as far as ride on the highway, like I said, we did a couple 100 miles on the highway today, and it rode really smooth. It handles bumps really well. The suspension isn't too stiff. It seems like a pretty stout car. It rides really well. Now, you're probably wondering, well, that big of a car, Sean, you're saying the motor feels like it's got plenty of power. It's probably a bigger V6 engine, or whatever Chrysler's doing, a 3.6. Probably depending on the package you get, they probably put a bigger motor in it. I'm assuming this has a 3.6. So what I got for fuel economy. So I averaged on the interstate, and even right now, I'm still averaging. I'm doing 50 mile an hour right now. I set the cruise control at 75, bounced around to 80. You know, there was times where I was around 70, but not for very long. So this vehicle got between 21 and 23 miles a gallon is what it's displaying for average miles per gallon. Which I think is pretty freaking awesome for the size of the vehicle, how heavy it is. Right now it's displaying 22.9 miles per gallon. I think that's pretty good, guys. City driving, I don't know. I didn't do a lot once I got into Mass. I did, but we were kind of we went to 2 different dealerships, and it didn't drop. You know, it was down to 21 at times, but that was it. I wasn't horsing on it or beating on it, but like I said, I was doing 80 down the highway. My wife drove it a little while on the way home. She did some 82, 83 range. Got after it a little more than I did. So the tank is large. So I just filled it up. We were on empty, and I would say we were sucking fumes. So we ran it pretty dry. The indicator on the dash came up and said low fuel. Distance to empty, and then all of a sudden it said low fuel. So I want to say we were probably 20 miles to empty. You know, it doesn't display that because once it gets too low, it doesn't give you a projected amount. So I filled it up. It held 24 gallons of gas. Gas is $2.80 right now where I filled up. So it was just under $68 to fill this up. So in 500, and I would say by the time I drove it home and drove it today, we'll just call it 525 miles I put on a tank of gas, which I feel like that's pretty reasonable. Obviously, I didn't want to put gas in it, but it's a rental, so I had to. It's good. Auto climate control. It's a pretty decent vehicle. I don't know what these are priced at. I assume if you're investigating Dodge Durangos, you already know, so you're contemplating purchasing one. Or maybe you're bored on YouTube watching Big Sean here. Other than that, the car looks good, looks great. The kids seem to have plenty of room. No troubles with that. I can reach the kids fine in the back to hand them stuff as we were driving. I'm trying to think of anything else. Everything else looks good. Yeah, guys, anything you would expect. The auto headlights when it gets dark, but it rode smooth, no shakes, brakes well, plenty of braking power for a heavy vehicle. That's my review. Again, I'm only did a day trip, 500 something miles on it. Just a quick feel for myself. It does have a weird little hiccup as you're driving. I don't know if it's a transmission shifting on and off a little bit, but it's got like a little hiccup in it. And I don't know what that is. But it seems to run fine otherwise. The car itself has 7,527 miles on it. So there's not many miles on this vehicle. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to go turn this baby in. Peace!